Hi, dear children. Welcome to the new session on the chapter Chemical Coordination and Integration. Let us begin this chapter with a question. What is coordination and or what is chemical coordination? In the chapter Neural Control and Coordination, we had learned about how the different organs in our body are coordinated or they work together as a single unit with the help of the impulses or the electrical impulses carried by the neurons from one part of the body to the other, and thus bringing about a response to a particular stimuli. In this chapter, we are going to learn about how coordination is brought about by certain chemicals. So, what is this chemical coordination? It is the coordination between group of cells or different organs in a multicellular organism. And this type of coordination, as the word indicates, certain chemicals are released by a group of cells, and these chemicals, it regulates the activities which is taking place in other cells, and these chemicals are called as hormones. So these hormones are nothing but chemical messengers which are released by a group of cells in our body, and these hormones are released directly into the bloodstream by certain glands which are called as endocrine glands. As we know, there are two types of glands in our body, exocrine glands and endocrine glands. Exocrine glands, as we know, they are duct glands. That means they are having certain duct and they release certain secretions onto a surface of our body, into any surface. Whereas endocrine glands, they are ductless. They do not have any duct. And they release these chemical messengers called as hormones into the bloodstream, which are carried from the site of production to a target site, and thus they bring about or they regulate growth, metabolism, and reproduction in our body. And these hormones, they are derived from a Greek word which means to excite. So hormones means to excite, to bring about a response to certain stimuli, in response to a stimuli. And they are released by certain ductless glands called as endocrine glands. And all these glands in our body together forms the endocrine system. So in this chapter, chemical coordination and integration, we are going to learn about the endocrine system in our body, the hormones which is released by these glands, and the functions performed by these hormones in maintaining the metabolism, growth, and reproduction. So let's begin with the gland called as thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is the largest endocrine gland in our body. It is the largest endocrine gland in the body. And where is the thyroid gland present? It is present above the trachea, that is the windpipe in the neck region. And the thyroid gland, which is the largest endocrine gland, it is made up of two lobes, that is a left lobe and right lobe, which is situated on either side of the trachea. This is the windpipe or the trachea, which is situated on either side of the trachea. And in this figure, we can see the dorsal view and the ventral view of the thyroid gland, which is made up of two lobes, the right lobe and the left lobe. The lobes, the right lobe and the left lobe, which is present on either side of the trachea, they are connected together by a connective tissue which is called as isthmus. So they are connected together by an isthmus. And the thyroid gland is made up of the follicular cells and the stromal cells. Follicular cells is nothing but the main cells which is present in the thyroid gland, which secretes the T4 and T3 hormones, which we are going to learn just now. And next is the stromal tissue. The stromal tissue is a connective tissue which supports the lobules of which makes up the thyroid gland and also the follicular cells. So stromal cells are the connective tissue which supports the follicular cells and the lobules of the thyroid gland. So the function of the follicular cells, as I just told, is to secrete the hormones. What are the hormones secreted by the follicular cells of the thyroid gland are thyroxine, which is otherwise called as tetraiodothyronine, or it is designated as T4. The second hormone is triiodothyronine, or it is called as T3. And the last hormone is thyrocalcitonin, which is abbreviated as TCT. So the main hormones are T4, which is otherwise called as thyroxine or tetraiodothyronine, T3 or triiodothyronine, and thyrocalcitonin or TCT. So let's learn the function of first the T4 and T3, which is known as tetraiodothyronine or triiodothyronine. The functions are it regulates the basal metabolism rate of our body, that is BMR. What is this metabolism? It is the sum total of all the chemical reactions which is taking place in our body, and these chemical reaction it maintains the living state of a cell or an organism. So the basal metabolism rate of our body is maintained by the T4 and T3 hormones of the thyroid gland. It also maintains the physical, mental, and sexual development of our body. In addition to it, it supports the RBC, that is erythrocyte formation. It controls the metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats in our body. There is a chemical reactions which is taking place for the breakdown of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And it also maintains the water and electrolyte balance. What is this electrolyte? They are minerals which carry a charge. Okay, they are minerals which carry a charge, and they play a very important role in our survival and health of our body. And they also play a very important role in supporting the hydration of our body, in maintaining the water balance of our body, and also it helps to provide energy in our body. So it maintains the water and electrolytes balance of our body. Okay, so that is these are the functions which are performed by T4 and T3 hormones secreted by the follicular cells. And what was the last hormone which is secreted by the thyroid gland? It is the thyrocalcitonin, which is known as TCT. It is a protein hormone. Okay, it is a protein hormone in origin, and it regulates the calcium levels of our body. How does it regulate the calcium level of our body? By lowering the level of calcium. Whenever there is an increase in the amount of calcium in our body, it brings down or lowers the calcium level in the blood. So that is the main function of thyrocalcitonin, which is known as TCT. In order for the thyroid gland to secrete the necessary amount of hormones, namely T4, T3, and thyrocalcitonin, it needs the adequate presence of iodine, because iodine is essential for normal hormone synthesis in thyroid gland. So dear children, in this module we learned about the functions, the position, and the hormones which is secreted by the thyroid gland in our body. Thank you.